Cool, welcome. Hey, this is Ben Sanford with Tribal Edge, and specifically the Tribal Edge Journey program. And as you can see, the big sign behind me. So I'm just dedicating Monday evenings at 6 o'clock to a community call for anyone interested in, well, chatting about the Journey program and getting kind of a soft start with that, being a ramp up until we get a solid group. And also just a Q&A and some practice time, some group practice. We can go through some of our connected practices and biological practices. And then just to explain more about what the journey is and offer some, short teachings, but also perspectives and of invitations, things to try on in your life. So that's what's happening. I'd like to see if I can get Facebook view on here to do that. Excuse me 1 minute. Okay, can't minimize. Interesting. Really. Anyway, that kind of did it. I just want to see if people are jumping on at all. I don't know that anyone has seen this page yet. This is all pretty new. And speaking of new, I've been creating a new website just for the journey. It's more than a website. It is a community platform complete with personal portal, has online courses, so many cool things on this platform called Podia, which I'm trying out. Pretty excited about that. And I'm going to have basically the whole program on there until further notice. And I may even tour through that tonight and give you a little preview of what that looks like. You'll see the online version. Kind of explain how the journey works. They want to figure this out with Facebook. That would be cool. So screen, patience. How do I make this? There we go. Okay, figuring things out. If you want to join me on Zoom, by the way, if you happen to come across this and want to join, what I'll be doing and what I'm going to do right now is put the link joining right into the comments here. Just a minute. It's so weird looking at myself in two places and two times. Okay, so there's the Zoom meeting if you want to jump in there. That way we could actually chat and interact. You will be recorded, so keep that in mind. But and if you just want to watch from Facebook, you can try and leave me messages there, but I probably may not see them. In my apishness. So weird. I'm like 10 seconds behind myself. Okay. I think this is working. Cool. So these first few, by the way, are going to be kind of me working out some kinks too. And but I plan on being available for, I don't know, hour. Depends if people don't show up, I probably will make these a little shorter and just make them informational. And if people do show up, I'll stick around. So where should we start? Let's start. I think I'll just take a tour of the new side-end building so I can give you a little bit of what I'm thinking there. And Um, let's see here. Not big again. Screen share. That's what I want. Let's try a screen share. Ooh, and whiteboards. I like that. That's fun. Share this screen. Oops. Cool. Now I can go to Windows. Yay, getting closer. Go. Uh, okay. Viewing site. Welcome to the journey online um, platform. We have here the homepage with this crazy cool symbol slash probably not, it might be a logo, but right now it's just a symbol. The name of the journey program, journey experience, journey project. And here at the top, we have typical navigation tools, home, about, resources, and join. And a reminder that this is still associated with Tribal Edge. I mentioned last time, I don't know if you didn't see this, Victoria and I did a video where she interviewed me so that it would be a little more watchable. And we talked about um, um, talked about how the journey, this version of the journey, been wanting to do something like this for a long time, but this recent evolution has been inspired by my um, marketing and business coach, Rick Dickinson, who's really helped me identify that the journey is my central program and that I can consolidate everything Tribal Edge does more or less into the journey as one integrated experience. It's hopefully easier for people to follow. So it's really the direction I'm moving, and is that I do this. This is what I do, and I do it in different forms, different ways, but just keep things simple. So if you aren't familiar with our stuff, Tribal Edge, you may want to check out that page. That gives a little bit more uh, history and kind of story of what I've been up to. But founded Tribal Edge in 2002 and have been 20 years of um, rewilding education and working with people of all different ages and profiles, and nature connection and um, community connection and interpersonal and personal journeys. And around 2010 or 11, I started the Journey program, which has it's a year-long adventure, and in some cases 2 years if you want to be an apprentice, train to be an instructor. And then after the pandemic, things were slowing down a little bit before that. I haven't had a team for years. So started to work towards putting in online access and began building a online essentially during the pandemic. Got a little bogged down with that. And then someone's like garbage cans outside or something. But then um, as I said, Rick helped me identify that this is my central offering, and some kind of morphing everything into this. In fact, the Tribal Edge website may turn into the Journey essentially. Um, so, and this is my prototype. This is my start. Actually, I can get someone who knows how to do real web design and make it look all cool and organic. Right now, it's a little bit black and white, but and gold, linear. But so let's just go through it. This is the main site. Um, Discover your wisdom. I have here the call. This is basically, what I'm noticing in the world and the and the reason for the journey. So this is there's some reference here to the hero's journey as well. Fine, let's get into this. But um basically the call, you matter. We need heroes who are willing, able to take a journey into the great mystery and emerge as protectors, providers, healers, and guides. I'm using the word hero here as a reference to the literal meaning of the word, which is protector, champion, people that are willing to put themselves between the known and the unknown and take a journey and emerge as protectors, providers, healers, and guide. These are the four archetypes that we focus on at Travel Edge, and which together are the final roles and duties that is the core of our curriculum. So then part of that call as well, the urgency and the importance of this is that the risks are real. We are suffering from a global separation sickness and the resulting polycrisis that impacts our planet at every level. So this is referring to the problems that we all know, we're all familiar with, and are probably overwhelmed by, and pointing out that these are largely caused by a global separation sickness. That's the term that I got from John Young, which I really love. It kind of captures the essence of our human condition and how we are separate from, or just separation in general is causing um, endless challenges and problems that are compounding and becoming more complex, which is the polycrisis, this many dimensional problem that we are all facing that seems to be overwhelming. And as one person, it seems like you can do nothing about other than what, recycle and maybe um, grow your own food, which is great. And by the way, I don't want to diminish that, but it's like, it seems like um, such a small act does matter, but it can be overwhelming and kind of heavy for people. So this is kind of like the context that I'm speaking to in terms of why we journey and why this program exists is that you matter, you're important, and that we are living in a world that needs you, needs our impact and change. It's not just a recreational thing, although it's very fun and rewarding for just you and your life. But even that, having a fun and rewarding life, if it's done with, you know, um, from this perspective of caring about the planet, I mean, even just you having a fun and rewarding life is going to be a great impact. So it starts with you and your needs and your concerns, but also expands to affecting um, everything and everyone, especially when we do it together. See if you know what it is. Not yet. Kind of glad. Okay. Oh, I guess you're going with me. This is a screen share. All right. So then that's the call, and then I have underneath this station is our response. Our response. The time is now. We train resilient, holistic leaders who understand the complexity of life and can help others take effective action in challenging situations. It's time to reconnect to the earth, live our visions, and integrate with the world as change makers. Resilient, holistic leaders is one of the outcomes of goals of what the journey aspires to help you become or to create. And then Um, the taking effective action in challenging situations was actually a definition of hero that I really liked from Dr. Philip Zimbardo, who has the heroic imagination or hero imagination project, something like that. So just kind of talking about, if not now, when, if not you, uh, what you gain. This is for you. The journey provides a framework for growth within a supportive community that applies to all areas of life. It's transferable um, during the experience and afterwards and beyond. Throughout this experience, you learn to embrace mystery, discover your natural potential, become a primal guide, a healing wisdom keeper, and a victim life. This is really a calling for people that right here. There's some service and leadership in here. There's people that want to contribute and make a difference in the world, and want to do so by embracing their own soul and passions and vision, and connecting with the earth, and learning to lean into the unknown and to live powerfully in an uncertain world in changing times, which is just where we're at. So we need folks that are embracing that, leaning into it, like maybe even a little excited right now, in face of all these challenges. Um, so that's the call and response. And then the invitation is if you're called to transform yourself in the world, an exciting adventure and meaningful experiences. And just so you know, I'm referring to the journey. And this is a group. This is my 2018-19 group. Awesome group. And me, welcome. Join me on a journey into the primal mystery of nature towards a more. So this is where we are right now, actually. Free group call. Mondays at 6 p.m. on Pacific time. These live online calls are recorded on Zoom and added to our archive. We'll be storing them for access later, just in case you miss it or something amazing happens and you want to hear it again. Um, these calls will be accessible by your memberships. And then these free calls, as we get rolling here, will at some point, there will be a free call that continues, but there will also be a membership call. We actually dive into the journey meet. We actually start on the journey process itself. And those calls will also be recorded and available by membership for people that are participating. So calls are an open dialogue and a Q&A with small group exploring our monthly theme, primal practices, and more. And today, the theme appears to be introduction. Also, our monthly theme right now is tracking. If you have any questions about this month, it'll be fun to explore that area. So you can sign up for those calls and or just wait for me to drop a link on Facebook or something, but it'd be fun to have a group form around this. This site, by the way, is not done. So there's going to be some weird spots and some glitches. Some links won't work, and even some we call it that false language they write on here to fill space. So let's see. These are the questions I've got so far. So frequently asked questions. Who is it for? The journey is designed for humans. Ah, surprise. Over 18 who are searching for a more meaningful way of life and are not satisfied with superficial distraction. Modern offers. See, edit. Modern life offers. It's for people who sense the wisdom of nature, wisdom of nature, and the primal nature within them. I think I wrote this really quickly. I'm going to rewrite this a little bit. The journey is for those who are wandering and searching for more clarity and direction in their lives and want to discover more deeply who they are and why they're here. The journey is for leaders and change makers who are willing to see things as they are, but also how they could be and want to make a difference. Not bad. The journey is for everyone. everyone's on a journey. This is just a intentional journey to kind of frame that and point that out, make that obvious, and to make it more aligned with nature and therefore hopefully more graceful and efficient. What is required? No prior experience is needed. Every level does require some authentic participation, which means your time, energy. However, the journey has several options for participation, from free, low commitment online participation to fully immersive, in person, and deeply committed apprenticeships. So we have a whole, that's what I'm excited about with this site. Kind of what I wanted to show tonight is that there's a whole range of ways to do this program, which is a newer concept, um, relatively, because in the past, the Journey program was kind of this, it was this set committed program where you had to apply and really embrace a commitment for a year and to dive in with a group, and you could only start one time a year. So it was a very kind of had some pretty serious constraints. So now I'm creating several layers to the experience, and the technology of the internet makes that possible, where I can have this online school and store and pre-recorded stuff and um, post-recorded stuff. So I I'll get to the levels here in a bit, but you'll see how those work. But there's a lot of ways to do it. So it depends on what you want to get out of it and what your personal goals and needs are. And I would recommend schedule a free consultation with me to find the perfect fit for you. So we can talk about it, we can answer any questions, we can go over the whole program and see what would be the best way for you to start it. Something that fits your schedule, your interests, your finances, everything, right? So all the relevant stuff. How do I get involved? This is where you need to know some pig Latin or whatever this is. So I have not answered that one yet. How do you get involved? Get a free consultation. If you're already on this call, you're already involved. If you're watching this, you're involved. But you can get involved more deeply. Okay, so that's the first glance, cover page. Let's go to about. Really still working on this, so I have a little patient with me here. uh, we have basically, so the about page I just made, it it is all organized around these leading questions. What, how, why, who, when, and where. Maybe we'll go through this. Why not? I might not read everything, but what is the journey? This is the toughest question for me. So, the journey is an experience. First of all, it's an experience. It's a program. It's a project. It's a community. It's also many other things that is greater than the sum of its parts and takes on a life of its own. So that's an important part for me to explain. And I'm kind of indicating that with these symbols here, which are collectively the big symbol behind me in the background here. So the journey is an experience. The journey is a unique experience. It's something that you participate in and um, you know actively live. So it's like a, one way to explain it is like it's a framework that gives you, it's a framework of courses and teachings and practices and assignments and standards and support and um, community and stuff, that when you really dive into it, depending on, well, really at any level, it kind of transports you into a world. It like makes, it makes life take on a certain perspective. It's a context for you to live within. That's the journey experience. So that experience is varied. It's very, everyone's a little different, but as you try on these different perspectives of the teachings and of the layers of participation, and as you're learning things, you see world a little differently. Then you go out into your life and you apply what you're learning, and you try things on. You see, you get feedback, and you get change. You see changes, and then you come back changed, and you share that with the group, and that changes everyone because everyone gets new insights from each other. and then we add another layer, and we do this all of these different aspects of our training and of our life at the same time, and you do this over and over and over, and something happens at some point. It takes on a life of its own. So it's like a living dynamic system that way. All of the layers and all the perspectives and all of the um, people and all the these parts, if you want to call them that, kind of synergize, and something else emerges that's really powerful and precious, and something that, as a facilitator, I really try to cultivate. Like, I really try to set it up so that does happen, and then really protect it and preserve it when it does, and point it out so people can eventually um, take responsibility for it, and then portray it themselves, and then it really does take on a life of its own, because the group ends up owning it in a sense, or at least um, causing it. And so, super powerful and a beautiful thing. Um, an analogy is like it's like building a fire. Like, these different pieces and parts come together, the different kindling and types of wood and the tinder and everything, and then the fire is ignited, and everything's set up right, and everything's in the right arrangement. Fire shows up, this seemingly alive, right? And also when it's not set up properly, or if the structure of it changes in some way, or something happens, then it struggles, and then it can kind of be tended and brought back to life. So that's how unique and kind of alive this is. This is not like a set, what would you call it, syllabus that's, you know, happens regardless of you. You know, you end up being a huge ingredient in this thing. What you need, and your presence, and what's going on for you, and what you're learning, it all feeds back into this system, and which causes it to be dynamic and changing. So you really do matter in this period. It's not like really can't avoid that. So that's one of the big takeaways, actually, and big lessons. Okay, so here's some stuff I just said. Probably you learn. Um, it's weird how it's organizing this page, but anyway, what you learn. I'll just read some of this, see if it makes any sense. What I just said. You learn the power of journey. As an experience, you'll gain insight into who you are, why you're here, and how to fulfill your purpose in the world more powerfully. The journey experience concludes with a vision quest to help you bridge what you learn into the scope of your life and your world and our world. As a program, you'll learn the science, art, and philosophy of living as a primal human with the earth. You'll learn to see through the eyes of the tracker, blend with nature, and feel more at home in any environment. You'll learn the essential survival skills that are part of your ancestry and continue to be relevant today. You'll learn how to hold space as a healer and to create the conditions for healing. You'll learn how to protect and defend life and make peace. So those are kind of the practical skills you'll be learning. Beyond the practical hands-on skills, you'll learn a way or a method of learning, problem solving, and navigating complexity. You'll learn to see the world from a systems perspective and appreciate it as a dynamic whole. You'll learn an ecology of practices that and help you evolve the quality of your consciousness, cognition, and character on a journey towards wisdom within a community. As a project, discover the power of strengths-led, principle-based, principle-focused, and play-based instruction. I'm sorry, education. You'll discover the potency of embodied participation, can't create, holistic integration, and the dynamic process of mentorship and complex facilitation. Furthermore, you will get to experience how these strategies for rewilding education and leadership have an impact by learning from, with, and through them as you implement your knowledge into real world experiences with real world impact. What this is suggesting is this is a project where we are both inventing and discovering ways of teaching, growing, learning uh, this work in this modern time, in a and hopefully contributing that to the educational sphere and into the primitive or the primal movement community, and um, exploring how to integrate this stuff into a pedagogical manner, like a learning system, but also how to teach it and how to pass it on, how to preserve it, these skills and this process in the modern day. And so you are part of that. Like, it's part of it. I want to say experiment, but there is some experimenting going on. There's certainly some research going on, and then you're going to be also contributing through projects of your own. You'll have personal projects, group projects, and also real world application stuff where you'll be testing it in the real world, meaning your life and your community, and seeing the impact. So it's not just a little you know bubble of special awesome magic for yourself, but also is available for, or is made available and going to be impacting others. So used, in other words. So what else? As a community, you'll find that you matter and that we do better together. Your community becomes one of your greatest teachers, and you bring many lessons back to the group. Through deep sharing and dialogue, we gain many more perspectives and expand everyone's learning exponentially. Your group and the bonds you develop while journeying together will support you during the process and last for a lifetime. It really is a beautiful way to come together. And the sharing that happens is where we can grow the most. And this is one of my favorite parts. And one of the reasons I love doing this is I get to learn so much by sharing this experience with others and seeing what they learn and what they have trouble with, and all these different things that give me insight into my own journey and into this process more and more. So super powerful. The main so onto the main categories, as I've grouped them at Tribal Edge. The main categories are primal training, liminal practices, meta education. But the primal training, um, right, notice is training, practices, and education. Primal training is the discovery of the science, art, and philosophy of the everyday hero through the hard skills, through the practical, hands-on stuff. Things that you will use and will change your capacity at a skill level and an understanding level. So this includes knowledge, but also skills. So this is where we talk about becoming a perceiver, provider, preserver, and protector. These are like the 4 archetypal roles inspired by Joe Lau's Natural Duties program years ago that I've mapped onto our curriculum, that are like the space holders that we aspire to become: the ultimate, perceiver, the scout, the tracker, become a provider, the hunter, the gatherer, the one who brings abundance, the preserver, the healer, and the protector. And so the skill sets that we touch on there, they're taught at a primal level, at a very core and low tech, meaning low modern equipment, but they're taught in principle form, which means they're also applicable to many, including modern day, because certain things like, for example, the concept of insulation, which is the core concept of shelter. All shelters have something to do with insulation, you know, creating a barrier or boundary between you and an environment. But these kinds of when you learn this way, you can generalize that to other types of shelters, but actually also to the concept of shelter. For example, like, just in a more maybe metaphorical way as well. So that's part of the power of this kind of training, the primal training. Primal means essential, original, and core to existence. Primal training gives you a framework of courses to learn the science, art, and philosophy behind the tools and the skills of living. Liminal practices. A timeless ecology of practices exploring the nature of being. So these are, liminal is the basically the transition space, the space in between things. Um, and I use that word because a lot of the practice, as much as we do stuff together and train together, there's a lot of space in between those training sessions. Our contact with each other, and where you're going to be solo, where you're going to be kind of holding your own space for your training and your growth and your journey. And so there's practices that help us do that in these in-between spaces and to train ourselves. It's where really all the work is. In my martial arts courses, I teach classes, but the growth happens, and you can see it for people that practice in between those learning sessions. So there's learning sessions, but there's also like the deep practice sessions. So, on the other sense of what liminal means, or the liminal practices mean, is it's the larger kind of cultural practices that we use to help us move through stages on the developmental process. So these are things like rites of passage and vision quest is an example, but there's ceremonies and things that will mark, and tests and things that will mark your growth. And so those are also practices that will be kind of marking those transitional spaces. You're moving from one stage to the next. Meta education. Here's journey into cognition, consciousness, and character. This is where really learning in terms of education, the education is about education. That's the meta part. We're learning how we learn, how to train, how to teach. And when we step back from what we're doing and shift our attention to the process that is unfolding using metacognition, when we use metacognition applied to education, it allows us to learn more about the process of learning, training. And so this is really useful stuff if you want to be self-taught, if you want to be able to use the skills that you learn in this training and apply it to other areas, and continue growing that way. Or if you just want to get better at facilitating learning experiences for other people, really powerful. So for yourself and others. Okay, we got through. Was that the what question? Phew, okay. I'm gonna run out of time here. Let's do a little bit more. We got the how question. Some of these need to be rewritten, but these are my space holders. This was an important one though, because this kind of gives you an idea of the structure of the journey. So the journey is basically composed of these basic elements. The central core element is our weekend intensives, which I'm just calling retreats. Not really retreats like getaways, but they are, you may have to stop using that word. But let's call them retreats. So the journey is composed of these basic elements. These in-person 3-day intensives where we spend 3 days together in person, practicing, training, and living the journey, doing these around the season. So there's 4 of them. There's 4 3-day versions: spring, summer, fall, winter. And those are like the heart of the program. That's like the meat and the experience and the unforgettable, you know, experiences that will last you with you for forever and change your life. But they are supported and supplemented by personal coaching with me, where I, depending on the plan or the membership you get, you can have everything from um, monthly coaching, like full coaching sessions, and check-ins, which are half an hour of kind of checking in and reviewing and kind of adding on to what you did in the coaching session. So there's like the super intensive version. It really keeps the energy going and keeps you moving strong in your journey. And then the other versions of coaching are just like a check-in once in a while, or a private coaching like once a season or once in a while. So that's, and you can also just do coaching whenever you want too, by the way. You can just decide you need a coaching session doesn't have to be built in membership. I just tried to build. I made a couple memberships that have coaching built in, so that you get a deal financially, but also the calls, which are going to be the main group besides the retreat, the main group experience. It is basically the informational sessions, the real content that I want to share each month, each week, that is supporting the journey process. Well, is really the connective tissue of the journey. And then we have the courses. The courses are based on our core curriculum, which are monthly themes, once a month, and we do them physically here at Tribal Edge at the land, but also we'll have them building, they're not done, but building the online version of the courses be available on this platform that you can take at your own speed. It'll be recommended to do, during the appropriate season, but you can really do them as one-off courses. We could do the whole series, as we go, and whatever makes sense to you. And we'll have, suggestions, but find what works for you. And then there will be some other bonus courses, like some smaller stuff in there. Courses are also, there's like all kinds of like video tutorials and specialty type courses. I'll have some Hero Lab stuff in there. Primal Lab stuff will be in there, which is a whole nother section of this, which is also courses. So that's our like, actually that's most of the curriculum right there. Even though we have these 3-day retreats, if you added up all of the course time throughout the year, it'd be quite a bit for these. Then we have the community, which is where you can actually log in. See over here. Go. There's a login option. There it is. And that takes you to a subscription area, to a portal. You get in there and you have access to the community, which is basically an online social media type place where you can post stuff, post videos, chat, and then also I'll have a blog in there. I'll be releasing all kinds of stuff in there. So that is where the community lives, but also we'll have a Facebook community. We'll have different layers of community so that you can stay in contact with people. That's basically, those are the elements that, when taken as a whole and seriously dive into them, it gives rise to this journey experience. So I wonder if this is pretty much what I said. Actually, there's some kind of here I mentioned how it works. The journey has several layers that come together to create a unique experience that penetrates into your everyday life, giving you a context of living. That's what I was talking about earlier. Those who really dive into the experience find it both insightful and mysterious, like playing an improv game, puzzle, and a treasure hunt all rolled into one. Though it can be challenging, the personal and group flow that it creates is fun, exciting, and rewarding. That's one element I've gotten a lot of feedback from and really have observed and really enjoy, is how people, when the journey's done, there's a lot of mystery involved, and part of that's intentional because just inspiring and it creates wonder, which is an important state for this. But part of it's also because it's just genuinely mysterious. There's a lot to discover, and as people get a sense of how this journey technology is coming together to create this guidance system and sense-making system framework, right? There's something that happens where this stuff all comes, these tools start to align in a way where you start to see life differently. You have a shift of perspective, and many times, and this becomes really fascinating, and really, like, people kind of feel like they're in some treasure hunt or something, like you're looking for the next piece, trying to solve the riddle or solve the puzzle. and you also feel like you're participating in the puzzle somehow, and like you're designing the puzzle. It's really cool. So this whole thing, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's a very interesting phenomena that starts to create. It's like playing a game, that starts uh, creates a lot of personal flow states and also group flow that just becomes self-rewarding, and that takes a little time to get rolling, but usually that catches on. It's kind of like that fire in the light. So no two journeys are alike, and the experience is carefully crafted and adapted to the unique participants present, with both ancient and modern facilitation methods, tools, and processes. So this is my commitment to keeping um, this experience learner focused, not content focused or even focused, but so that your experience and its unfolding is a priority. And a lot of that's done through this old method of what's called coyote teaching, which is in some ways teaching indirectly, like allowing the lesson the lesson to be reveal itself, develop your own relationship with the teachings. So when done well, it requires very little input on the teacher's side. So turns out I don't have to be awesome really and know everything and even be a very good speaker or teacher traditionally, that kind of thing. There's not a lot of that kind of teaching. It ends up being how good are you at holding space and setting up the conditions for lessons to emerge, which is something I am pretty and then study a long time. It's far easier too because I can't predict and know what exactly you need to learn. You don't need to. Um, you let nature do it. You let the learning process do it. You let people discover what they need, and everyone discovers something a little different, and then we share that, and it's amazing. The facilitators aspire for the journey to take on a life of its own, requiring a gentle touch. As the participants become a coherent team who begin to take on the responsibility for their own journey together. That's the goal. That's the dream. It's pretty cool when that happens. So, how this changes lives, work on that a little more, how to begin, why the journey, basically jumping right to the mission. To journey as one with the primal mystery of life is our simple mission statement, um, which there's a lot in there. It means a lot, but it's, you know, journey to know how to journey, first of all, is important. As one means, you know, in unity with or integrated with primal mystery of life. Again, primal essential mystery is really referring to many layers of reality and life. So, and I wrote this vision statement the other day. Actually, I'm still crafting it, but so far it says to live. The vision is to live in a wiser world of guardians, to live in a ritual and celebration of the beautiful complexity of life as an ongoing relational process, a journey of emergent wholeness that is the rarest gift in the universe and our honor to tend to. So it's really um, focused on the beauty and rarity and significance of life and our role in protecting some of the values. I just wanted to share. I could go on and on with these. It's hard to prioritize them, but wholeness, sense of unity, oneness, peace, that kind of wholeness, along with integrity, which is a supporting factor. That's what gives you a state of functioning and working state, diversity, the variety, and yeah, variety and change that's essential for living systems. And then kind of more traditional values of education being one of the big levers and the big cures that we can offer in this age, with an effort to restore ourselves and the planet and our memories of how to live with the earth, relationships. And then once they are restored, to preserve them and to make sure they're passed on in a sacred way. And then with that all in action to transform and continue to grow and evolve with the earth and make the changes necessary for us to continue being the caretakers, healers, protectors of the planet and each other. Who is this for? Well, it's for you. Journeys for you personally, if you want to grow as a primal human, reawaken your wild connection to the earth, learn life, supporting skills, and make a difference in the world. It's for you interpersonally, meaning if you want to embrace your vision, serve your community, and learn to become a more conscious and confident leader, teacher, guide. Us, about us. Journey staff is a growing network of gifted and skilled guides, coaches, instructors, specialists, wisdom keepers, support staff. However, much of your experience will be led at this point, at this time, by me uh, as your head instructor, lead guide. And part of that is just due to the nature of the program where it's evolved and it's now in kind of a small state and will be growing a new growth state. It's like kind of regenerating, restarting. So excited to be training new guides and new instructors, which is part of this training I didn't really get to. The idea that there's going to be there's a certification level available, also apprentice level available if you want to carry on this work and contribute in the journey process, coming out and helping facilitate at the weekend intensives, and eventually becoming an associate where you build or have your own program, your own community. These are all the possibilities we're moving towards goals. So you, us, and we, just honoring the interdependentness together. Excuse me. We all thrive. Together, we bring the journey to life with staff and participants learning and growing together as the journey takes on a life of its own. We really do grow, even though I may be guiding, we really grow together. Everyone's learning, and everyone's learning unique and different lessons appropriate to where they are in the journey. And that's just the beauty of how it self-regulates, takes care of itself. The when the journey has an in-person and online live and recorded events available year-round. So again, depending on how deeply you want to dive in, the journey curriculum begins every spring because we follow the course of nature and the natural seasons, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere. And however, unlike the old days, you're going to be able to join at any time. And you can either try to catch up or just wait until we get back around to the next season, however it works best. And that's for the live calls. When I say join, you can join a live call at any time. And you can also join the online courses, and you can join the seasonal retreats at any time. So you could start fall or start with winter. I think, it may be ideal to start with spring because there's some progression involved in the journey. But at the same time, each season is and each month even is kind of its own self-organized little organization of material. So it matters, but it doesn't, it makes a difference, but it doesn't really. What else? To graduate, I might as well say that this journey begins, to graduate and qualify for a certification or apprenticeship. Participants must attend all the required events throughout the year from the beginning at least one time. It means you can start wherever you want, but if you want to graduate and get certified or be an apprentice in the apprentice group, we need to do one cycle of the year starting from spring. So, and I wouldn't wait, by the way, if you're like, I want to be an apprentice or something. You could start in the fall and then just carry on through spring because you're going to want to, in fact, if you're going to be an apprentice, you're going to have to do the whole journey more than once anyway for it to participate in that role, but also for it to sink in another layer deeper. So something to think about there. Weekly schedule. Yeah, so here's just the basic schedules laid out. Every week, we got live calls Mondays like this at 6 o'clock till 7:30. Currently, they're free until I get a cohort that's ready to dive in and start this program. Um, Primal Labs in-person course will be Wednesdays. It looks like it's all day, 10:30 to 4:30, and it kind of is, but it's actually 2-hour blocks. It's a 2-hour, 10:30 to 12:30. There's a 2-hour downtime of lunch and play and wandering, hanging out at the land, and then another 2-hour chunk of training from 2:30 to 3:30 or 4:30. So that's that day. And then during that day, 2:30 to 3 currently is my plan. We'll see how that goes. I want to have a live online section of the Primal Lab where we share with you what we're up to and give you some things to work on and make a cool little video, which will be recorded and stored. But that's hopefully going to be live out of the land. Still working out the tech to do that, but that's the plan. Monthly schedule. We have our core classes live in person on the first Saturday of every month, 9 to 5. I will be also adding the core classes online to this platform as they are developed. It takes a lot to do that. Sometimes I'll be using recorded stuff from a live class out of the land, and sometimes it'll just be a in the studio kind of class. But they will have the same content, not necessarily the same experience. It'll be up to you to do a lot of the these similar and really cool. Then we have our gatherings on the first Sunday of every month. Welcome to come to those, participate in the community, your new skills in action, etc. And then we have seasonal retreats, and these are the dates we have for this year, for spring, summer, fall, and winter. And each retreat is identified by its archetypal role. Spring is a perceiver, summer the provider, fall the preserver, winter the protector. So, where? Well, the in-person stuff happens out at our land out in Blinn, in Blinn, Washington. You can check out the map for that. It's there's a link to our website on our website. It also happens right where you are, depending on you are what level you want to play. So, and you can also, if you're participating in this, possibly even if you're not, we'll see. But you can request an in-person event at your area. You can do that with any of the Tribal Edge content. So 10 more minutes. Facebook. I think so, but how would I know? So let's go. Okay, resources. Resources. Screen's getting dim because I'm running out of battery. This program is loaded with resources. Memberships. Well, we're Latin. We've got several tiers of memberships for you to check out. The retreats. These are the seasonal retreats. They're the heart of the traveler's journey. 3-day intensives where all the magic happens and lifelong friendships are made. Retreats ground the journey experience into 4 unforgettable and life-changing events. So those are them. Schedule I'm working on. Let's go back. See what that page looks like. Details. There's the flow of the day. There's the schedule. Cost. Yes. This meals are included. There's lodging nearby if you don't want to camp, although camping is recommended, part of the experience. Mm, okay, coaching. Not much to say about that at this moment, but those are sessions, live calls, courses online. These are recorded. Some of them will be live online, and there's the in-person community, the blog where I'll be sharing articles that are relevant to your journey themes and schedule, calendar, downloads, all kinds of information, um, documents, articles, uh, videos, all kinds of stuff that are going to be for you to download and check out as you want. Archive is our audio and video library of content. It's going to be growing and eventually huge support. You have the newsletter emails, and you also have at certain membership levels direct messaging to me where I keep the correspondence going on your way. References, a lot of material, all the influences on this associated videos, readings, articles, links, websites, other groups, uh, teachers, schools, all kinds of stuff. Huge, coming soon. I don't have that built yet. Scholarships, will be some scholarships available depending on the event or the material. And certification will be available for people that want to become a primal guide. And associate level, this is going to be the colleagues, friends, associates, people that are supporting, but also have their own supportive work that you may benefit from and want to do some training with as well. Then finally, how to join. Here's the memberships. So I have 4 basic plans. And these are in 3 different tiers. Tiers are kind of like levels, if you will, and the plans are within the so the shelves. Plans are on the shelves. So tier 1 is the open free plan, and that's just who's that got? Let's take a look. Here's the tier. You get a free membership, which includes these things: the free community, free live calls. You also get access to the blog, the newsletter, and some emails. Also, probably get some discounted stuff too, that in this kind of way, because you'll be in the community where you get a lot of posts and stuff. It's a great way to participate. You get the free monthly call, which right now is weekly, so I would jump on that. But at least 1 call a month. There might be more. See, and it's a great way to get a sense of the journey and without diving in too deep and without investing any money. So just your time and attention, and participation. Then we have the minimal version, which is really built for um, minimal, low investment. Like in this, you get the benefits of the free membership, but you get actually sorry, you get a minimal membership, which will have its own besides the free membership benefits. Private community isn't accessible. Then you'll be part of the journey itself, the member calls, which is the real meat of the course. That's our weekly live calls as a group where we go through the whole journey process, the themed calls. And then the basic membership. This is the next jump up. This is a lot more stuff. The basic membership has its own private call as well. You have access to the other communities too. The same live member calls. You have call replay, so you have access to all the recorded and calls if you miss one or want to re-listen to one. And then you get access to all the online school. So now you have all the mind. This is the core curriculum, the primal labs, all that stuff on board, along with a seasonal one-on-one check-in where you and I get together and kind of see how this is going for you and craft it more intentionally in the directions that serve you, and just kind of make it a better experience for you. So personally, I custom it. Then we have the ultimate. The ultimate is everything. Tier 3. This is where everything we have to offer. This is going to be not, there's not a lot of spots available for this because it involves a lot of practicing. You're going to get monthly coaching, one-on-one coaching. You're going to get a monthly check-in between those coaching sessions. You're going to get all the live calls. You're going to get the course archive, which is you're going to get all the live. You're going to get all the stuff from the top. You're going to get member calls, the call archive. There's all the recorded online course, all the online courses, course archive, which means you can go back to them anytime. And then a private check-in once a month, like bi-weekly, kind of halfway through the month. And then a private coaching session once a month, which is a full 60-minute session worth $250. I mean, this is a serious investment here. And then a discount on the seasonal retreats. So you're not going to get the full retreat, but you will get a discount on those. There will be actually a lot more bonuses coming towards this membership too. So everything added. So then we have tier 4, which is really talking about the apprenticeship and a mentorship option program. Mentorship's a little different. So you get this kind of support in an ongoing and committed way with consistent communication and really dialing it toward your gifts and your vision. So over time, mentorship's also that time. The apprenticeship I'm still kind of working out the details. It used to be a 2-year process, probably when it's going to be going through the journey once and then going through it again as an apprentice in a different perspective and different role. We'll be helping to tend the groups and some of the courses and kind of shadowing how we run it and learning in that way. And so that brings us to the end, right? So that, if you're still with me, was a tour of the new site. I'll put a link up for that site. Right now, it hasn't been released yet, but so you get like a preview. Got a bunch more tweaks to do on it, but it'll be coming up pretty soon and available. I mean, you can start the free membership anytime, and you can start really any of them. But yeah, so this is an exciting thing. It's all in the process of growing, building, and I appreciate your interest and your patience. And thank you for checking this out. Thanks for swinging by, whether you're watching it. Well, we are watching it recorded. I don't think anyone made it to the live one. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can ask me anytime. You can contact me at here on Facebook or email or the Tribal Edge website. Contact me, schedule a consultation with me, and you can watch this recording. I'll probably have it on YouTube. You can watch it wherever you want. It'll be on the archive as well. And other than that, I had one more thing I wanted to say, but it escaped me. So thanks for your attention and your time. And awesome. I look forward to training with you and journeying with you. And oh, that's what I say. If you do have any questions, come next time. Bring your questions to the next Q&A next Monday, 6 o'clock Pacific time. Talk to you then. You guys take care and keep going.